You love your dog. You feed them every single day, maybe even this morning. It feels like such a simple, loving routine. Scoop the kibble, fill the bowl. Watch that happy tail wag. But what if that ordinary act, the one that makes you feel like a good owner, is silently shaving years off your dog's life? Most of us never question it. We buy the food we've always trusted, we pour it into the same metal bowl at the same time, in the same corner of the kitchen. It's habit. It's comfort. But inside your dog's body, something very different might be happening, something you can't see until it's too late. According to the 2025 Canine Health and Nutrition Survey from the University of Georgia, nearly 86% of dog owners are unknowingly doing something every single day that slowly damages their dog's health from the inside. Not through neglect, not through toxic food, but through something as innocent as the way they feed. Think about that for a moment. You could be the most loving dog parent in the world and still be making a mistake that steals precious years from the friend who trusts you most. It's a quiet danger, hiding in routine, one that even the most devoted owners rarely notice until it's far too late. Veterinarians across the country have been sounding the alarm, warning dog owners to take a closer look at their feeding habits because what seems harmless might actually be the most dangerous part of a dog's daily life. So today we're going to break down the truth. The 10 deadly feeding mistakes that almost every dog owner makes, and how one small change could mean the difference between a life that fades too soon and one that thrives for years longer. This isn't about buying expensive brands or following the latest online trends. It's about understanding the feeding mistake 98% of owners make every single day, the one hidden in plain sight. And trust me, mistake number 1 is one you've probably done today. It's so common, so ordinary, yet so deadly, because it turns your dog's own stomach into its worst enemy. 1. Feeding only. Once a day. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Feed your dog once a day. Keep a clean schedule, no mess, no fuss. For years, that single meal has felt like the picture of good care, predictable, easy, and efficient. But inside your dog's body, a quiet storm might be building with every hour that passes between those meals. Imagine this: 18 hours or more, their stomach waiting, churning empty. The acid inside has no food to work on, so it turns inward, burning the lining of the stomach like rust, slowly eating through steel. You don't see it at first. Maybe they start licking the floor more often, nibbling grass, or pacing after dinner. Little things you might laugh off as quirks. But what's happening inside isn't small at all. Veterinarians call it gastric dilatation volvulus, or simply a twisted stomach. It's one of the deadliest emergencies a dog can face. The stomach fills with gas and flips in on itself, cutting off blood flow. And when it happens, it can take just hours for a perfectly healthy dog to collapse. There are no second chances. One of the most common triggers: long fasting periods followed by sudden activity. The same once-a-day feeding habit millions of owners believe is harmless. You might have heard someone say that feeding once a day helps dogs live longer. And yes, there's a bit of truth there. The Dog Aging Project studied more than 10,000 dogs and found that under very specific conditions, low activity, steady rest cycles, once-a-day feeding showed mild cognitive benefits. But here's what those numbers don't tell you: that same routine can be devastating for working breeds, active dogs, and seniors. Their metabolism doesn't rest, it fights to stay balanced. When you starve that rhythm, their energy dips, their gut strains, and their stomach becomes a ticking clock. Think of your dog's metabolism like a campfire. When you feed it small pieces of kindling through the day, the fire burns steady and strong. But if you let it die out, then throw on a log all at once, it smokes, sputters, and struggles to relight. That's what happens inside your dog when you feed only once a day. Their body spends hours cooling down, then scrambles to digest too much at once. And the worst part? You won't notice until it's too late. Until the day they refuse food, or hunch in pain, or you see that look in their eyes: confusion, discomfort, trust turning into fear. But it doesn't have to end that way. The solution is simple, gentle, and powerful. Split their meals. Half in the morning, half at night. Give their body balance, not burden. Their digestion stabilizes their mood, evens out their energy returns. The acid stops attacking and their system begins to heal. It's a small shift that can quietly add months, even years to their life. You don't have to change what you feed, just when and how, because love isn't just about giving food. It's about giving rhythm the steady heartbeat that keeps them alive longer. So tonight when you pick up that bowl, pause for a moment. Think about the fire inside their body and whether you're keeping it alive or letting it burn out too soon. And what if I told you, the very bowl you're using might also be hurting your dog, not their stomach, but their mind? 2. The bowl and mental enrichment. Look at your dog's bowl. That simple dish sitting quietly in the corner, maybe it's stainless steel, maybe plastic, maybe it's been there for years. You wash it, you fill it, you set it down. It feels safe, dependable routine. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what is that bowl really doing to your dog's mind? Dogs weren't born to live inside kitchens. Their ancestors hunted, tracked, searched, solved problems for every single bite they earned. Food wasn't just fuel, it was purpose. Each meal was a mission, a puzzle, a reward for instinct and effort. Now imagine replacing that ancient ritual with a 30-second scoop and swallow. No scent trail, no challenge, no joy, just a shiny bowl and silence. It doesn't seem cruel, but to a creature built for discovery, it's the slow erosion of meaning. Studies from Yale's Canine Cognition Lab show that dogs who eat from plain bowls day after day have higher levels of cortisol, the same stress hormone linked to anxiety and depression in humans. Their brains grow quiet. Their curiosity fades. They start pacing, chewing furniture, barking at nothing, not because they're bad, but because they're bored. You wouldn't take a retired firefighter and lock him in a room with nothing but a chair and a sandwich. You wouldn't expect a teacher to sit in silence for years with no one to teach. Yet every time we drop food into that same bowl in that same corner, we're asking our dogs to live in a world stripped of instinct and challenge. They need more than nutrition, they need engagement. Their minds crave the hunt even in small ways. Try scattering kibble across the yard and let them search for it. Wrap a few pieces inside a towel, let them sniff and tug. Use a puzzle feeder, a snuffle mat, or even a muffin tray with tennis balls covering each cup. Watch how their eyes light up when they earn their meal again. Because when a dog works for their food, something magical happens. The tail wags differently, slower, fuller, prouder. Their body relaxes, their mind quiets. They're not just eating, they're living their purpose. A tired body will sleep, but a tired mind, a satisfied, peaceful mind heals. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for that same metal bowl, ask yourself what would happen if breakfast became an adventure again, because the next great act of love for your dog might not be what you feed, but how you let them find it. And speaking of feeding, let's talk about the one thing almost every owner does with the best intentions, but it's slowly hurting the dog they love most. 3. Overfeeding. Without realizing it. You scoop the food, maybe add a little extra. Just a touch more because they looked hungry or because that wagging tail made your heart melt. It feels like love, doesn't it? That full bowl, that happy face, that little moment when they look up at you like you're their whole world. But sometimes love wears the wrong uniform. What you think is kindness might quietly be building a cage, not of metal, but of weight. A soft, silent burden your dog carries every hour of every day. If your dog is just 20 pounds overweight, that's not a small number. For them, it's like you walking around with a full backpack strapped to your shoulders every moment, even while you sleep. Their heart works harder. Their joints ache. Their lungs strain for air they used to breathe with ease. And the worst part? It happens so slowly you don't notice until they can no longer jump into the car or climb the stairs without stopping halfway to rest. The Association for Pet Obesity Prevention found that nearly 60% of dogs in America are overweight. That's not just a statistic, that's millions of dogs struggling to stand, walk, or run because we love them too much in the wrong way. And it doesn't happen overnight. It hides in the chest, the neck, the belly, soft little changes that seem harmless. Until one day the vet starts talking about insulin joint injections or heart stress. That's when the truth hits. It wasn't the food. It wasn't genetics. It was us. But don't blame yourself. You did it because you care, because that look in their eyes made you want to give them the world. You just have to change how you show it. Grab a measuring cup. Know your dog's weight. Find the right portion and stick to it like a promise. Think of feeding not as a gift, but as a prescription for life. You wouldn't pour extra medicine just because your child smiled, right? You'd give the right amount, because that's what love really means. So feed with your heart, but measure with your head. Because your dog doesn't need more food. They need more years. Years to chase the ball, to bark at the mailman, to rest their head on your lap while you read. And if you still think adding just one extra scoop is a kind gesture, wait until you hear what taking them for a walk right after that meal could do. 4. Walking your dog. Right after a meal. It sounds wholesome, even responsible, doesn't it? You feed your dog, clip on the leash, and head out for a nice walk together. Maybe it's part of your morning ritual. The air's cool, the neighborhood's quiet, their tail wags beside you, and for a moment, everything feels perfect, love in motion. But inside your dog's body, something very different is happening. Imagine shaking a soda can, then opening it. That's what goes on inside their stomach when they eat and then move too soon. Their belly fills with food and gas, and if they twist just the wrong way, a leap, a sudden sprint, even a playful stretch, that stomach can flip on itself like a towel wrung too tight. Veterinarians have a name for it: gastric dilatation volvulus, or GDV. It's one of the most terrifying words in pet medicine, a twisted stomach that cuts off blood flow and crushes vital organs. When it happens, you don't get warnings. No slow buildup. Just pacing, drooling, a failed attempt to vomit, and then collapse. 2 hours, maybe less. And in that short window, even an emergency vet might be too far away. Purdue University's veterinary school found that one of the top triggers for GDV is exercise right after eating, especially in larger breeds like Labradors, Great Danes, and Shepherds. But here's the truth. It can happen to any dog. A beagle, a mutt, even the one sleeping at your feet right now. You think you're being responsible giving them food, then a walk. It feels right. But the body you're caring for is begging for a pause. After eating, their blood rushes to the stomach to help digest. When you force movement too soon, you pull that blood away, leaving chaos where calm should be. So walk first, feed second. Or if dinner comes first, give them rest, 20-30 minutes of quiet. Let them digest, let them breathe, let the engine cool before you take it out on the road again. Because peace isn't just about the walk you share. It's about knowing you gave their body the rhythm it needs to stay alive. So next time they look up at you, leash in mouth, just minutes after eating, smile, pat their head and whisper, "Not yet, buddy." That pause isn't neglect. It's love disguised as patience. And speaking of what's in that bowl, have you ever actually flipped the bag of dog food over and read what's inside? You might want to, because the next mistake hides right there, printed in small letters most owners never even see. 5. Ignoring the label. That bag of dog food. Sitting in your pantry, it looks familiar, doesn't it? Bright colors, bold words, pictures of happy, healthy dogs running through green fields. You trust it. You've trusted it for years. But here's the uncomfortable question: have you ever really flipped it over and read what's written on the back? Most of us don't. We look for the word premium, maybe grain-free, maybe a nice photo of a chicken breast, and that's enough. We pour, we feed, we move on. But what's actually hiding behind those comforting labels is something that could slowly drain the life from your dog, one bowl at a time. The first 5 ingredients on that list are the heart of the meal. And if you see words like corn wheat, soy, or byproduct meal, you're not feeding nutrition, you're feeding filler. It's like fueling a sports car with watered-down gasoline and wondering why the engine starts to cough after a few miles. Even worse are the small, innocent-looking abbreviations buried in the fine print: BHA, BHT, ethoxyquin. They sound like harmless preservatives. But here's the truth. BHA and BHT have been banned in parts of Europe for their potential links to cancer, and ethoxyquin was originally developed as a pesticide. Yet they still find their way into many commercial dog foods right under our noses. Universities like Tufts and UC Davis have been warning owners for years we're feeding our pets chemicals that we wouldn't dare eat ourselves. But no one reads the bag, because the front screams healthy and the back whispers hazard. Think about it. You wouldn't take a pill without knowing what's inside it. You wouldn't hand your child a drink if you couldn't pronounce half the ingredients. So why do we let our dogs eat from a bag full of mysteries we've never questioned? When you start reading, you begin to see patterns. Words like Animal Digest poultry meal meat, flavoring all vague, all hiding something you'd never cook in your own kitchen. A healthy dog's food should list real recognizable ingredients: chicken, turkey, salmon, sweet potato, blueberries, brown rice. Names, not codes. And those artificial colors? The reds and yellows and flavors that make the food look appealing, they're for you, not your dog. They don't see color the way you do. They don't need their food to look pretty. They just need it to keep them alive. So here's the challenge tonight. Grab that bag from the pantry and flip it over. Read the first 5 ingredients out loud. If you stumble over the words or you can't pronounce them, that's your sign. Your dog deserves real food, not factory leftovers disguised as nutrition. Because the truth is, what you don't read might be what's slowly rewriting their future. And even if you find the perfect, clean, wholesome food, there's still one mistake that could undo it all. It's not about what's in the bag, but about never changing it at all. 6. Feeding the same food. From puppyhood to old age. It feels safe, doesn't it? You find a food your dog loves, they lick the bowl clean. Their coat shines, their tail wags, and you think, why change what's working? That bag has been part of their life for years. Same brand, same formula, same comfort. But here's the quiet truth. No one tells you, dogs change. And when their bodies change, their food must follow. A 6-month-old puppy is a little machine in overdrive, building muscle, stretching bone, learning the world one heartbeat at a time. They burn energy like a flame, wild and fast. They need high protein, more calcium, richer fats, fuel for growth. But fast forward 5, 6, or 10 years later, and that same food that once built strength now begins to weigh them down. What once was fuel becomes friction. The formula that powered their youth now feeds inflammation, excess fat, and stress on aging organs. Their joints ache. Their heart works harder. They start to slow down, and we call it getting old when sometimes it's simply the wrong food for the right dog. You wouldn't feed a toddler the same diet as a marathon runner. You wouldn't give your retired father the same meals he ate at 20. But somehow when it comes to our dogs, we forget they too have seasons. The Journal of Veterinary Medicine found that dogs fed according to life stage puppy, adult, senior lived significantly longer and had fewer chronic conditions. Why? Because their diet evolved as they did. Their food served their age instead of fighting it. Look at your dog today. Not as the puppy they once were, but as the soul they are right now. Do they move slower? Sleep longer? Carry a little extra weight around the middle? That's their body whispering that it needs something different. Lighter protein, more joint support, fewer calories, more antioxidants. Changing food doesn't mean breaking what worked. It means continuing to love them properly. It's like tuning a song as the melody deepens, still beautiful, just played for a different time. So don't cling to the comfort of old habits. Let their meals grow up with them. Because when you feed for who they are today, you give them the strength to stay with you for all the tomorrows still waiting. And here's the twist. Even when we buy the best food, the most expensive formulas, and feed the perfect portions, there's still one thing most owners never realize: that balanced kibble might not be as complete as we've been told. 7. Thinking. Kibble is complete. That bright, colorful bag sitting in your pantry, sealed tight, stamped with big words like balanced and complete. You trust it. It's convenient. It smells the same every day, looks the same every day, and your dog seems to love it. So you think this must be enough. But what if it isn't? Imagine cooking your dinner at 400 degrees for hours, sealing it in plastic, and eating that same meal 6 months later every single night. No fresh vegetables, no variety, no life. That's what most dogs experience with processed kibble. It fills their belly, yes, but not their needs. During the manufacturing process, dog food is exposed to extreme heat that destroys up to 60% of delicate nutrients, vitamins A, E, and essential omega-3s. What's left is shelf-stable, not life-stable. It can sit there for months, even years without spoiling, but that's because it's not alive anymore. The Journal of Animal Physiology revealed that high-heat pet food production doesn't just strip nutrients. It creates compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, toxic molecules linked to inflammation, organ stress, and premature aging. You might not see the damage today, but 5 years from now it shows. Dull coat, stiff joints, cloudy eyes, slow recovery. The quiet toll of a diet that never changes. But here's the hope: it's not about throwing out kibble. It's about upgrading it. The Purdue University canine study followed dogs over 10 years and discovered something extraordinary. Dogs who ate fresh vegetables just 3 times a week had a 90% lower risk of developing certain cancers. Not a miracle, just real food doing what it's meant to do. Add color to their bowl: a handful of chopped carrots, a few green beans, blueberries, spinach, a spoon of gently cooked salmon or chicken. These tiny splashes of life bring back what the factory burned away. They don't need to replace kibble just to revive it, because your dog's body doesn't crave luxury, it craves life. And in every bowl you have the power to give it back. So tonight when you open that same bag you've opened 100 times before, pause. Look at the food, then look at them. Ask yourself, does this look like something nature made or something convenience made? And even if you get everything right, the ingredients, the portions, the timing, there's still one habit many owners believe is harmless, but it's silently hurting their dog's body from the inside out. It's not what you feed, it's how you leave it. You've seen the mistakes, maybe even recognized a few you've made yourself. And that's okay, because no one hands you a manual when you bring a dog home. You learn through tail wags and quiet nights, through the way they look at you when they're scared or when they trust you enough to fall asleep by your side. You didn't fail them. You loved them the best way you knew how. But now you know more. You see how small invisible choices, an extra scoop, a quick walk after dinner, the same food year after year can ripple quietly through the years of a life that depends on you. Feeding isn't just about food. It's about rhythm, balance, and care. It's about turning something ordinary, a daily routine, into an act of devotion that adds time to the bond you share. Maybe your dog is curled up at your feet right now, breathing slow, trusting you completely. Maybe they're gone and you're still carrying their memory like a heartbeat that never fades. Either way, what you do next matters, because every scoop, every bowl, every quiet choice becomes part of their story. And that story, their life, is written by you. So if this video opened your eyes or touched your heart, stay, subscribe. Not for the numbers, for the knowledge, for the love for the dog that waits by your door or greets you when you come home. Because sometimes one small change can give them one more year. And one more year means one more sunrise together. Tell me in the comments which mistake surprised you the most, because your story might be the one that helps another dog live longer. And in the next video, we'll talk about something most owners overlook: how the material of your dog's bowl could be the most dangerous thing in your kitchen. They give their whole life for you. The least we can do is make sure that life is long, healthy, and full.